Hello and welcome to Mad Old Goes Racing, and today we are in Rennsport. Now, for those that have been living under a rock for the last 6+ months, Rennsport is a new racing game, sim, coming out sometime, quite who knows when. Currently in closed beta. The closed beta was supposed to start around about the turn of the year. The sign-ups originally to go on a wait list for the beta were started off in September last year. You sign up for the wait list and then you signed up to the Discord. They did something slightly interesting, that rather than starting off the closed beta, they decided to start an esports series, which I think may have pissed a few people off, but their game, their choice. But yes, I was of the opinion that basically they said they couldn't give it out to people because they could do like a limited LAN based multiplayer, but they couldn't do an open multiplayer. Well, my first thought of that was it's going to be a single player and a multiplayer game, so why not just give it out as a single player game so people can get a handle on the physics, the general sort of look of the game, and maybe even something simple as I don't like your UI or whatever. So yeah, I and quite a few other people were somewhat perturbed, I think, by the fact that they did that. Any road up, I now have a beta access. I waited patiently along with everybody else. Was it a couple of months? Was it a month ago? They started off putting out some beta keys. The first batch, some people said there was only 8. Who knows? I think that's just become a meme now. Have I actually got? Have I done something dumb with my recording here? I may have done. I may have set this thing to say duration. Shit, I think I have. Bollocks. Let's try that. Otherwise, I'd have got 10 minutes through and suddenly gone, oh yeah, why's my recording stopped? Now, what I'm going to do is have a quick look through like the menus. Hopefully, that'll give a few clues as to what they might be planning in the future. So, quick session. We'll just go through them in order. The hell? Or should I start with options? Yeah, but we'll start with options. Better click on there because it's obviously I alt-tabbed. It doesn't allow you to move your mouse outside the sort of window to go to another window without alt-tabbing, which is a tad annoying, but whatever. Some games do, some games don't. Right, in terms of options, got the usual stuff, audio, etc. Simple case of a bunch of volume controls. Video wise, you got the video settings, basic display, it's window full screen. I am running that in DX11. I was just testing to see whether DX11 worked better than DX12 in terms of, because I've got an older GTX card rather than an RTX card, 1080 Ti, so it might be that it works better with DX11. Who knows? I haven't actually finished trying it out, back to back in it, or doing anything silly with it, so I don't know yet. Resolution scale, you can obviously adjust that. It has DLSS, which obviously I can't use because my card's too old. I can use it on my other machine, it worked fine. It then gives you a I set the record, if you turn it on, you then get an extra menu with sharpening and with what quality setting you'd like, quality or balance or whatever, and then the sharpening as well. Did you get sharpening? Or was I thinking of something else? Too many games. Anti-aliasing method, TSR. Now, I'm not sure if that's something like temporal super resolution or something. I don't know if that's a Unreal Engine 5. I should have mentioned that. It's Unreal Engine 5. Built-in AA method. It's also got FX and temporal AA, which is presumably just a straightforward temporal, so it defaults to this. VSync, it defaulted to disabled. It also had No frame rate limit on the menus, or did it have 60? I can't remember, but whatever. When I first installed it on my other machine, I fired it up, and whilst trying to sort out the initial, when you first fire the thing up, it wants you to sign up to get an account on the Rennsport website. And whilst faffing around trying to sign up, because they do have apps that you can have on your smartphone to actually scan a QR code and do something with that. I don't have a smartphone. I don't do QR codes, which is slightly annoying, as I had to do an Amazon return the other day and had to get a QR code to go with it. But whilst faffing around trying to sign up and do all this other stuff, I suddenly thought, why is the fan on my 2060 screaming its head off? And it's because it was pulling 160 plus watts in this menu, and literally it's a static image. So what the hell it was doing, I don't know. But I've turned on VSync and I've put a 30 frames per second limit on the menu. It seems to work fine. Quality, and you have separate frame rate limits for in-game, as in when you're racing, and the frame rate for the menus. Why they don't default games to VSync on and something like 30 frames per second for these, I don't know, but they didn't. It was also all on Epic. I've got a sort of mixture of medium and high. That seemed to work reasonably well. That was giving me a solid 70 frames per second. This is a 70 hertz monitor, so that's all I need till I do eventually go around and get a faster monitor. Rendering stuff, projection correction, that's if you've got a curved monitor, it can do that, so it'll correct it. I think ACC has that as well. You can set your mirror FPS. I think it was defaulted to 20, and the quality of the mirror was absolutely terrible when I first fired it up, so I've sort of changed it a little bit to make it a little bit better. Also had a very short mirror distance. Obviously, the more you put in your mirror and the better your mirror quality, the worse your frame rate will be for everything else if you try and wind everything up. But I like to be able to see what the fuck's coming up behind me and see whether or not I'm about to be T-boned going into a corner. Now, it may go, would you like to save that? Oh, no, it didn't. Right, gameplay-wise, you can set all the different units, which I like. So speed units, the metric unit, but things like tyre pressures, you can have them in PSI or bar, whether you're using metric or imperial. So I do like the way they mix that, because it annoys the crap out of me when you only have one option and you're either metric or imperial. And if you're like me, who's a bit of a weird fucker, I will mix my unit systems quite a lot. Because I'm weird. Performance stats, I'm not even sure what it does, but whatever. Gap to the car ahead, or you can do it to relative to the leader. Lock the virtual steering wheel, so that you can have a steering wheel in the car but lock it, so if you've got a load of things on the wheel you can still see it. Show or hide the in-car dashboard, and you can have everything hidden. I've locked it for the very simple reason that where I'd actually placed myself in the car from the camera, when I turned the wheel, my virtual hand appeared and it was taking up about half the screen. So it made it very difficult to turn a corner and see where the hell I was going. So I just locked it, and that way it wasn't in the way. Assists, it's got the usual things about shift protection. You can actually turn it off completely. Automatic or manual for everything else, like blipping, lifting, etc. Telemetry, I'm not 100% sure what that will end up doing, but it will chuck a load of data out, presumably in your local app data folder, if you happen to know how to find that, because that's a funny place to put it. And replays, you can enable or disable your replays. I've got them enabled, so I could have a look at the replay. By default, it's off. Controls, basic steering. That's weird. I mean, the steering wheel to me, that looks like it's upside down. I want it that way up. And then that reminds me of a Doctor Who monster as well. Ice Warrior. Usual stuff. You can assign all your usual things on your... I might have to actually use a mouse here. Why is that not going up and down? One of those weirdnesses in the UI. You can assign everything individually. I have had to invert all my pedals. Obviously, you'll have things like handbrake and other bits and pieces because I assume at some point they will have something other than GT3 cars. So you might have something with an actual handbrake. I have to say, they've got everything covered because you can also individually have wheel and pedal, gamepad and keyboard all assigned. So if you want to drive with one and then swap to another for some bizarre reason, you could do that. Bindings, again, very comprehensive. You've got all the usual things you can bind for your car, cameras, and again you've got primary, secondary and tertiary, so you could have button boxes galore as well as loads of buttons on your wheel, and you could have something on your keyboard as well, so if you ran out of button box or ran out of keys. In-car menu, I've had a look at it by pressing the Z key, but I haven't actually signed anything to navigate it on the fly because I haven't bothered using it yet. It allows you to do the usual sort of things with setting various things in the car. I can't remember what now. Spectator. Now, this is quite interesting because you can actually, when you do your replays, you've got effectively access to an auto director and all those sort of things, which presumably you can do in spectator mode as well. So anything you can do in spectator mode, which presumably you would do if you are doing, say, an esports event and you wish to show it to the world, you can actually just have your replay running, turn on the auto director, sit back and watch it, and it will do all the cameras. It will swap cars and do all the other things. Presumably, I've not tried it on a multiplayer event because I haven't actually done a multiplayer event yet. I've not actually got that far. Inversion options, whatever, and your interface. So you can actually get every single thing you need. So things like the context action and the secondary context action. I hadn't assigned them until like a few minutes ago, and it was kept coming up as down the bottom. So you should hopefully be able to see it says R save load preset. Well, if I hadn't assigned something, I'd have to press R and T for on my keyboard. So now I've actually assigned a couple of buttons, which helps. Force feedback, I've not played with it a lot. I'll set the strength. It is inverted. Being Fanatec, generally speaking, anything that allows inverted force feedback generally has to be inverted for Fanatec gear. One of the perversions of life. Filtering, I got it fairly low, 2, which is I think the default. Wheel torque capability, about 9 Newton meters, assuming it is Newton meters, for something like the CSL DD and the GT DD Pro. Some people have said if you go higher than your actual output, you actually get better FFB. I put it up to 20, put it down to 8, didn't feel a lot of difference, so whatever. Sensitivity, I haven't actually played with that yet. Minimum force. Now, I did find that the first time I drove the car that I own, and we'll get onto that in a second, I found it was a little bit lacking right at centre, so I put 1 minimum force on it. It just filled in that little feeling like there was a little bit of a gap. It might just be that's just down to the geometry of the car, because when I tried the BMW, that was much more solid initially, so I might go back and turn it off. But you can also adjust the tick rate, as then key aliases, which whatever. And lastly, you can give you feedback. Now, if you now go to single player, I won't actually go into a quick session. We'll just have a look at it first. Obviously, you're going to be able to set AI. At the moment, you can't. You can decide what cars are allowed or not allowed out of the 4 available so far, and you can set the BOP on the individual cars, which is quite interesting. So you can actually give additional mass and or adjust the power of the engine. So at the moment, everything's set to be equal. It will be interesting to see how good their AI are when AIR. Is that a third letter? How good the AI are when they get around to it. Race settings at the moment, there's no weather or anything. So as far as I'm aware, I haven't managed to find anything to change the weather, unless I've missed something completely. You can obviously decide what car you want to use. You'll note that it says owned. You'll also note that you can't actually move around just by pressing all the buttons, so you can't actually select another car without using your mouse, which is another little foible of the UI. There's actually very few foibles of the UI. It's pretty well sorted, in fact. So you can actually run a car you own, or you can run one of the other 4 effectively at the moment. Again, we'll get around to why you have owned cars. Range settings gives you all the usual stuff, so you can't actually change anything other than where you start. And again, basically all you can really do at the moment is practice. Penalties and assists you can't do anything with. And as far as settings for track and other, at the moment you can just select the track. So at the moment we've just got the usual selection: Monza, Spa, Hockenheim and Nurburgring. Again, go with the 4 most probably played on the planet ones. Fair enough. You might as well go with what people are going to be using. Multiplayer. Official customer local contest. If there isn't anything, presumably it'll go. I couldn't find anything in a minute. I hadn't actually tried pressing this button before. Oh look, it couldn't find anything. Same as custom, it'll probably go. It couldn't find anything. Official contest. Basically, you end up with a calendar, and again, will this actually do anything? It might not. No. Do I have to? Yep. So you could have a look to see what's coming up. At the moment, you basically have to register to go into a race. You can only register in the 30 minutes before it starts. And if you don't register, you can't join it. I have not done a multiplayer race yet. I will at some point get around to it. So if we go to... we'll use a mouse because it's just easier. Right, so at the moment, that race is probably running, so you can't register for it. That one I could register for. That one, because it's more than 30 minutes away, I can't register for. So it's a slightly strange way of doing it, but whatever. Presumably at some point there will be potentially multiple races on at the same time. Who knows? But yeah, that's the way they're doing it at the moment. And like I said, at some point in the future, I will actually get around to trying a multiplayer race. Then your My Rennsport, which gives you all your details. The Rennsport rating is a fairly basic ELO style rating, no surprise. So basically it'll be based on your race results. Whether that's only going to be affected by presumably multiplayer, whereas the safety rating, again, there's always an option to have your safety rating working with AI, because if you can race safely with AI, you can race safely with people. Although the AI may be more predictable. I'd stop saying AI and getting it wrong. So I don't know if I can actually set my preferred car number. Oh, apparently I can. Okay. I have a bio. I could log out if I wanted to. Save. Which button save? That one. Yes. Nationality. I presume I'd set that. Oh yeah, I can. Has he got English? Bugger. That annoys me. If it's got fucking Irish, yeah. Quite often you end up with the option for Northern Ireland, Scotland and bloody Wales, but not England. And being English, that annoys the shit out of me. Oh, that's alright. Just have to go for United Kingdom. Better save it. Save. So you can at least get your buttons all sorted out on your wheel. Assuming you got enough buttons, because it does take quite a few. Garage. There is a way of taking and doing things with a car. Zooming in and out. I thought you meant to be able to rotate it as well. Maybe it don't. Maybe that's not working yet. The zoom in and out is working, but I thought I'd assigned that to go. Yeah, it's not doing anything. You can change the car again. You got the same selection because that's all the cars that are in the game at the moment. I don't know why I haven't got the one I own. Hey, there you go. So you can have a look at all the cars. There are a selection of liveries for each one. A fairly small selection, I think. Reasonably small. Then somewhere there was a oh yeah, option to create a new livery. I couldn't remember what the bloody thing was. So they're obviously going to put in a livery editor of some description. And if you've already got one all sorted out, or you've borrowed one, bought one, whatever's happening, who knows, you'll be able to choose the file and load it up. Obviously I can't do that because I ain't got one. And then you can upload it to a server, because presumably you'll be able to buy and sell things. So that button. Replays, anything. Obviously, like I said, I've done a couple of free just driving around by myself jobs. You see, I've only actually tried 2 of the circuits so far, so I might try a different one in a minute as we have a quick drive round. Should I just nip into the replay now, or should we do a replay after we? No, we'll do a quick drive round and then do that. Last races. Obviously, I haven't done any races yet, so how the fuck do I get out of that? Oh, that was a bit bizarre. There was no thing down there saying how to get out of that, so that was slightly confusing. So what we'll do is we'll go into a quick session and we'll use my owned car. Then we'll go to Nurburgring. As I happen to be racing on the Nurburgring last night, I can give it a bit of a comparison. So start. I don't know whether or not that's in the way down there, so whether my ugly mug is getting in the way of you being able to see things, I'm not sure. Right, when you come in, obviously there will be stand-ins, and presumably when there's more than one person in here, there will be a bit more detail about who's doing what, where and when. At some point, I am sure there will be an option to sort of have a look at all your laps. I can't remember if you could or not if you've done some laps. And presumably at some point you'll be able to change the setup of the car. At the moment, it's all fixed. So if you don't like the way the cars drive, tough shit, but that's fair enough. I mean, you should be able to just jump into a car and drive it and get a handle on it reasonably easily. So what we're going to do, there is a spectator option. So if you have jumped in and obviously that's a bit bizarre because we'll change it to a different camera. Should go through all the cameras. So that's all the gameplay cameras, so probably wanted to move forward a bit and do that. But you see, the modelling is actually really good, high quality, good modelling, so that's always good. Obviously, if there's more than one person in there, you could actually change who you're looking at and change between gameplay and. Ooh, that's probably not a good choice of camera. I don't like that a lot, but it's actually one that shows my car. So you just have some special cameras as well. So you get the option in spectator mode. Obviously, if you joined, I don't know if there's going to be a specific way of joining as a spectator or what, I don't know. But obviously, if somebody else is racing and you just want to watch what they're doing, you can go into spectator mode and follow them about. Obviously, that's not going to do a lot because there's only me. But yes, then you have an auto director which you can turn on, and it will wander around following things. You can also turn on the various HUD elements. So for TV broadcast, you'd have your track map and various other bits and pieces. So it's all in here to be able to. It's a bit weird the way it then buggers off over here. So hopefully you could actually see that before. Things like all your throttle, brake and everything. Hopefully my face is not quite in the way of that. It might be, I don't know. What I will do is go into the exit the spectator mode, and if I press the escape and go into options, we should now have somewhere, where's the bloody edit? Oh, there it is. You can now edit your HUD. I can't remember if you could actually see that before, but basically everything that's in the HUD is able to be moved around. So I can move like my tyre widget up here. I don't know if you can make it bigger and smaller. No. Change mode. So you can turn it on and off basically. I'll put that back down there-ish for now. But everything that you can see here, you can move around, so you can have like your mirror and everything else. Would like an option to make them a bit bigger or smaller, but it might be there something they'll do at a later date. I don't know. But you've definitely got lots of ability to move stuff about, if I can say that. So I mean that's I'll just put that one there. So there's a field widget which is turned off by default. I didn't even realise it was there because I haven't actually played with it. So I could actually move all this stuff over, and you can see me sort of throttle and brake inputs, and then see what the tyres are doing. Hopefully I'll just move all of this out of the way of my ugly mug. I could put the preview on up here and see what it's doing, apart from the fact I can't get out of the window without tabbing. I'm assuming that I get that down there. Will that quite fit? Yeah, that'll be alright. I'll put that there. That'll do. I'm assuming it auto saves it, but I ain't sure, so we'll find out. Yeah, do you want to save it? Yes. So presumably now, if I continue and go to the track. Like I said, oh, I can now, hopefully you can now see everything. Like I said, it is really nicely modelled, I will say that for it. Very high quality, loads of grass, nice trees. I'm not 100% sure how they've done the trees, whether they're actually 3D or whether they're some sort of multiple X tree or something, but they do look alright from a distance, and I haven't actually managed to get that close to one yet. Car sounds fine, quite good sounds. Very overactive traction control at times, so I would like the ABS and the traction control lights to flick on in different colours. I don't know whether that's the actual colour they are in the car. It's the Audi. The traction control warbly cut-out noises are not too bad in this particular car. In the BMW they're quite intrusive, so as you can see, it looks really nice, all nicely modelled. One thing about the Audi is it does rotate a lot, and then sort of it rotates on turning, then it carries on, and then it rotates as you accelerate, and it's quite rotatey. Now, I'm not even sure which. Oh no, it's that one. Guess who was playing on ACC last night with the other chicane? Yes, me. Now the FPS counter up the top there, I'm not even sure what that's telling me. It's like, it might be saying 70-ish, it might not. I misread the marker boards. Ended up way past where I should think I should be able to brake. That curve's really draggy. That curve's not so bad. Again, that's one of those things you have to sort of work your way into. It's like, can you attack curves, get over the back edge of them a bit, and will they drag you over or not? I mean, it almost feels like it's just, you turn in and it's just going, I'm going to rotate and rotate and rotate. The brakes, I don't know whether that's the way the ABS works or whether it's just the tyre grip or what, but the brakes, you can brake so much later in this than you can in ACC. I was tootling around at Monza and I was braking at least 25 metres later than I would in the same car in ACC. So, in terms of feel, I think the closest thing in terms of feel and in terms of the way the cars rotate a lot, probably got a, don't forget you're going this way, a definite R-Factor 2 vibe to it. I think this must be a considerably smoother circuit than Monza. Around Monza I was getting banged about all over the place around down the straights, so sort of, this is much smoother, or whether that's something to do with the quite a drop off. I'm not pushing particularly hard. I mean, in terms of grip and the sort of the type of grip it's giving. It's like it's got a very flat grip curve, so it's actually quite difficult to tell where you are on the grip curve. I mean, you know, you sort of might be past it there because it's rotating, but it's not peaky, so you don't feel like you're right on the edge like you might do in some other sims. Now, some people might prefer that and some people might absolutely hate it, but that's what you got at the moment. So this is definitely a lot smoother circuit than Monza. Bit of a stutter in, I don't know what that was. I don't like that chicane. I don't like the other version of the chicane much either, but there you go. In fact, I just don't like chicanes. That curve's fine, but there's a couple of curves where, obviously where they've got a bit of a drop off from the back edge, it really doesn't like them. Whether that's just a facet of the tire model, I don't know. I was trying to get to see whether it will actually indicate some lateral and some longitudinal traction control cut there, because nothing you can see on the display there. It's got TC4 and it's got TC more than 4, so they're both linked together. So I don't know whether that actually makes a lot of difference to what it does, or whether it's actually only doing lateral or whether it's doing both at the moment. I'm not sure, but I'll go back and we'll have a look at the replay. In terms of sort of general handling, it's fine. Okay, if you don't like cars that rotate a lot, you'll probably be going. But if you've chosen the BMW, it's a lot more stable. The Audi really is, of all the cars, the most rotatey, if that's the right word to use. How do we get to the bloody... How do we get to the bloody replays? Can I do a replay from in here? I don't think we can, actually. We'll have to get back to the main menu. So yes, it's all nicely modelled. It's reasonable in terms of, I mean, if you like R Factor 2 and the way it feels and the way it handles, I think actually R Factor 2 has gone more towards a more stable approach of late, so their cars don't seem to rotate quite as much as they used to. If you go back about 18 months to 2 years, this feels like R Factor did back then. Whether they're going to change the sort of the grip curve a bit on this, I don't know, but we'll find out. Where was the replays? Whatever. Hopefully we should now have one that says Nurburgring. Select. The loads on this are remarkably fast, I have to say. Oh, that looks a bit... go to AutoDirector, then you can just at least... I can't remember how far along I was when I... how long ago? Oh, there we go. Right. Go back forward a little bit. You got back and forward 10 seconds at a time. Can I move that? No. TV. Hide the UI. Didn't mean to hide the UI. I meant to. Oh, how do you get the bloody thing back? No! You have to press escape twice. That's weird. So you can hide the navigation UI. That's better. I mean, it looks very sharp and very nice. There's a little bit of ghosting on the back of the car from the... And the car's a little bit stuttery from that angle. But the various different AI modes give you a little bit of ghosting behind the car. I've got it set to fairly low. Oh, there you could see it probably. You'll end up with like 3 or 4 things behind the car, and it can look bloody horrible if it's in the right position or in the wrong position. You'll suddenly see them pop up and think, what the hell's that? But it's just temporal anti-aliasing can do that. Again there was a slight... Is it the FXAA option? It gets rid of the ghosting, but the rest of it looks shit. So I'd like a few more options maybe, but that depends. It might just be that this is Unreal Engine being a pain. You might not be able to see it in the recording, but I can see ghosts behind the car. Plus there is a bit of a... Oops. Again there, that was a bit stuttery. But in terms of the quality of the modelling, it is really good. And like I said, this is not even on the highest settings, nowhere near. If I turn it up to epic, I get about 40 frames a second or something stupid on a single 1440p monitor. It might have even been less than that. So, but it does look really nice. But no point in looking nice if it drives like shit. But it doesn't. It drives okay. If you don't mind the way the cars are at the moment, whether they change the tyre models a bit in the future, who knows, but that curb is horrible. I don't know how quickly they'll be adding more content. I don't know what their plan of attack is particularly, other than the fact they've got it in a few people's hands. They're looking at, so even there you can see it. Physically see the car rotating. All in, it's a good start. Like I said, I have no idea how long it will take them to get sort of to the next bits and pieces, or what their roadmap is. They have done a few sort of things saying what they're going to do and what their plans are, but I've got other things to do besides sitting all my time on either YouTube or Discord looking to see what people are planning to do. So I might take a bit more interest now that I've actually got access to it, shall we say. So, but all in, I think it's looking quite good. It's certainly looking nice as far as visuals, and audio's not bad. There are a few minor bits where you sort of think, yeah. Maybe could do with a bit more there or a bit more there, but obviously work in progress. But all in, it's not too bad, and I think, as you can see from the sort of like the UI and what they've added into it and what they've got for things like livery editors, AI, etc, 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 there's a lot of things to add and there's a lot of work to do. But I think, judging by where they're at so far, if they carry on adding things, I think on their website they've actually got a 5th car, which is the Porsche project. I think that's their sort of Le Mans hybrid thing that they raced this year, their hypercar. I might be wrong, but I think that's what it was. Well worth a look on their website anyway, just to see what they've got planned for the future. But as I said, this was just a first look and a quick, I'll say quick intro. That's 40 odd minutes of it, but that'll do for me for now. Like I said, I will as new bits come out and as new bits to look at, I will sort of have a look at them. I might try and get into a multiplayer race over the next few days, and I'll sort of record it and see how it goes. But also, of the 4 cars, I think the Audi's probably the worst in terms of it seems to get the rear tyres hotter than the others. It seems to be more rotated than the others. So if you don't like a particularly rotated car, don't pick the Audi. Probably pick the BMW. But I just went, oh, well, I've got to pick a car, because when you sign up, the first thing it says is, what car would you like to own? I said when you sign up, when you get into the game, it asks you to sign up on the website and then says, what car would you like to own? And I went, oh, I'll just pick the Audi, whatever, I don't care. And then found out I might have picked the worst of the 4 cars from my point of view of driving, at least with my particular driving style. It is what it is. I mean, in terms of lap times, I took them all around Monza and they were all within 4/10, something like that. So they're pretty well bopped. I'd have to back them on all 4 courses to see whether or not they're bopped across all 4 courses reasonably well. But around Monza they were fine. So, yes. But for me, for now, that's a quickish introduction, and I will see you soon. Have fun, enjoy your driving, racing, and did I say I'll see you soon? Probably, but my brain, Blair. I'm too hot, too old. Have fun, I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Where's my bun?